there, traders. Today is the 1st of March 2021, and this is your daily market breakdown. So we're going to start off with Bitcoin on the daily chart here. First thing I want to talk about is the fact that we're holding this level as support up until now. But over the weekend, it didn't really change anything about the trend here. I still think the overall longer term trend is up as long as Bitcoin holds above $30,000 essentially. So I'm still overall bullish on Bitcoin. Just want to remove this trend line here. So I do think overall this is going to still make another leg to the downside. I'm still overall bearish. You can see the 21 exponential moving average right above this liquid zone. So I'm not going to buy this liquid zone unless Bitcoin breaks above this pivot up here and closes a daily candle above $51,112, somewhere around there. So overall, still looking for this to make its way much lower. If I go down to the lower term time frames, things will start to make sense. So on the 12-hour chart here, we can see that we're currently finding the 55 exponential as resistance. So previous support becomes future resistance. And it's right inside this liquidity zone. Could we see another short-term move back up? Yes. I don't think that's out of the cards. Perhaps another short-term move back up to 48,000, maybe even lower, 48,300 to about, let's call it $50,000. Somewhere inside of this red zone again, this liquidity zone. If we go down to the 4-hour time frame, we're bouncing off the 200 simple, which is a pretty good thing. But as you can see, the 55 and the 100 exponential lining up around that $48,300 mark. Remember on the 12-hour chart, that was more or less where the 21 exponential was lining up. And on the daily chart, that was more or less where the 10 simple lines up. So this is more or less a new zone that I'm going to be paying attention to on the lower term time frames. But as long as Bitcoin remains inside of this trading area, this trading zone, this accumulation zone, I don't think we're going to see any major moves. So here's what I want to say. Short-term bounce, perhaps back up to $48,500-ish level. I think it will be met with resistance. At that point, we'll probably look to enter another short position. To the same token, if Bitcoin closes a 4-hour candle above $51,100, above this liquidity zone, I'd be looking for it to make another short-term move back up to sweep these highs up here around $56,000, $57,000. To the same token, if Bitcoin does break to the downside and takes out this previous swing low, on decent volume, I'll look for another reason to short the market around this liquidity zone, around $43,000, $44,000, back down to $40,800. So that's my target to the downside. As you guys know, some of our longer term positions are still down here as well, waiting to get filled. So I'm going to be very patient on this one today. I'm not going to be looking to take any positions to the upside unless we take out the upside pivots, which again, just for clarity and transparency, is around $51,000. So as long as Bitcoin is below 51K, I'm going to remain short-term bearish. As long as it is above 43,000, $400, this previous little swing low here, I'd expect it to perhaps have a short-term pop back to the upside, like I said, met with resistance, and then perhaps we'll look at a short opportunity again. But that's going to take some time, perhaps another couple of hours, perhaps by tonight or tomorrow morning, we'll see an opportunity around this area. Or maybe this area. If we close another 4-hour candle below this liquidity zone, I will short it. Back down to $40,800. Let's talk about Bitcoin Cash. Let's start out on the daily chart here first. Looks like we have a potential bounce here. Again, short term, I think most of the cryptos will have a bounce. This one could bounce all the way back up to the 55 exponential on the daily chart, around $500. $510 is where our liquid zone starts. And then the 21 exponential moving average and the 10 simple moving average, both of them are crossing to the downside here. And they line up around the top side of this liquidity zone. So we have to keep an eye on this liquid zone. This is the most important one right now. This is our pivot to the upside. So if Bitcoin Cash takes out this pivot to the upside, we'll switch back to longing and looking for another extension back up to the previous swing highs. But if Bitcoin Cash breaks below this liquidity zone, I'd be looking for another extension back down to $377. So let's go down to the 12-hour time frame. We can see that we're currently bouncing off the 200 exponential moving average, this red one. We could perhaps go back up and test around the 100 or the 55 exponential on the 12-hour chart, which also lines up with that same liquidity zone, which should be red right now. Let me just change that to red. There we go. Okay, so that's now resistance. So I'll be looking for short opportunities inside of that liquidity zone if we make our way back up there. Again, I do think short-term bounces are to be expected in this market. Do I necessarily want to buy those short-term bounces? No, not really, unless I get a very good entry and a good risk to reward, which we'll keep an eye on. But you can see also inside of this liquidity zone on the 4-hour chart, we have the 200 simple moving average, the 55 exponential, and the 200 exponential moving average, all lining up inside of this liquidity zone. So this is massive, massive resistance. So if we can get back up here, I'm going to be looking for a short opportunity on Bitcoin Cash. And if we can make it back down below this liquidity zone, I'll also be looking for a short opportunity back down to this previous liquid zone down here. Ethereum, let's go back to the daily chart. First of all, again, I think most of these cryptos are going to have a short-term bounce. Ethereum's more like Bitcoin here. So let me just go back to the daily chart on Bitcoin. You can see that we're currently holding resistance below the 21. But Ethereum's holding resistance below the 55 exponential, which does point in the direction that we could see an even greater meltdown on Ethereum compared to most of the other cryptos. And since this one has been leading most of the crypto market for the last year and a half, I think this will still be our leading indicator. So I think Ethereum could easily make its way back down to around $1,240 today. If it bounces back up, I think it will be met with resistance around $1,586. On the 12-hour chart, we're also holding resistance at this level because of the 100 exponential. You can see the 21 exponential lining up with this previous level of structure on Ethereum. So perhaps this is going to be one of our biggest resistance levels. It could very well jump back up to $1,665. So we need to keep that in mind. We have to play this one manually. We'll have to see how does it react when it touches this zone, and how does the market react when it gets back up to this zone. If it reacts in a way that that is going to be in our favor and we can take some short positions, then great. But if it doesn't and we don't get any entry reasons, we'll just stay out of the market for now. But this one does look to me like it wants to have some more meltdown, some further meltdown. Like I said, perhaps back down to 1,200-ish, somewhere around here. The 200 exponential moving average on the 12-hour, the 100 exponential on the daily, and on the 4-hour, I would expect that to be nothing. Yeah, there we go. So very bearish on Ethereum here. I do think I would look at a short opportunity around $1,550, somewhere in this liquid zone here. If we don't get an entry reason, we'll probably short back up here. And to the same token, as soon as we close below this liquidity zone, again, I'll be looking at that as an entry reason to go short back down to $1,050. So that's it for Ethereum. Not a lot to go on here. at the moment. You know, we'll have to wait till the markets officially open. Chainlink, we had a beautiful short here for Chainlink. We actually got short around $27. Took some profits around $24 yesterday. Our next target was down here around $21, right here on the 100 exponential moving average on the daily chart. Then we moved our stop loss into profit and we got stopped out overnight on that. It's holding support on the 55 exponential here. I don't think it's holding too much of a support. I do think it coming back down immediately to retest is not necessarily a bullish signal. Do I think we'll see some short-term bounces here? Yes. I do think this is another short-term bounce. You know, do the short-term bounces play out today? I don't know. We'll have to see. If it does, we'll short back up here. We'll take the exact same position because that's lining up with the 21 exponential and the 10 simple on the daily. On the 12-hour chart, we can see that we're currently holding resistance at the 100 exponential moving average. This is another reason why we started targeting lower yesterday around $21 is because we closed the 12-hour candle below the 100 exponential. So to the upside, again, this level has a lot of resistance right now. I do think this is another leg to the downside here. On the 4-hour chart, we'll probably be able to find some entry reasons. There we go. Any kind of close below this liquidity zone would be a short opportunity, in my opinion, back down to $21. Any kind of pushback up to this liquid zone, I'll be looking as another short opportunity as well. So some short opportunities happening here if and only if Chainlink breaks above $28.36 will I flip back to bullish on this particular pair. So that's Chainlink. Litecoin looking overall much more bearish here, in my opinion. We closed our daily candle below the 55 exponential yesterday, looking like it's holding resistance right now. I think Litecoin most probably is one of the only coins that I believe is going to start moving down before the rest of the market. Perhaps Ethereum and Litecoin, because if you recall, Ethereum's also holding resistance below the 55. And I think there was another one that was holding. No, it's just above the 55. Okay, so Ethereum and Litecoin looks like they're leading the market here. So on the 12-hour chart, below the 100 exponential, same as Ethereum, you can see here, below the 100 exponential. I like this. I do like this. I like the fact that we've closed below our liquidity zone on the 12-hour chart. So I'd definitely be looking to go short on Litecoin here. As a matter of fact, after this video, I'll probably post a market short on this. But short term, we could see another pushback up here. So I wouldn't take a market short here. I'd wait for the market to confirm first any kind of reason for entry. Let me just see on the hourly if we have anything. Perhaps we have a little bit of an entry reason on the hourly, but I won't take it too seriously just yet unless we start breaking some structure here. Let's keep an eye on this one. I'm going to make it yellow because I think Litecoin could be a potential trade for the day. I do like what I'm seeing here. I do think we're going to see another extension back down to 131. Same with Ethereum, so let's mark that one in yellow. Let's talk about Uniswap. Uniswap, still bouncing off the 21 exponential. We did technically close below the 21 exponential yesterday, which is not necessarily a bad thing in and of itself, but usually when we see the first close, we can usually expect a test back down to the 55 exponential, which lines up with our previous level of structure right down here. So if I go back down to the 12-hour time frame, you'll be able to see it lines up with the 100 exponential. So if Uniswap takes out this pivot, the 55 exponential, so this liquidity zone, the 200 simple in this case, if Uniswap takes out this liquidity zone, I would be looking to go short on it back down to $17. This does look like a descending triangle pattern in to me, and this would have a measured move back down, lower, much lower actually. So let's see, let's say this was our potential breakdown area. This actually points back down to around $12, $11. So let's see if any kind of market structure lines up with that. From historical price action, there's a little bit of a order block right over there. So perhaps we could come back down and meet that order block, but we'll have to wait and see. Overall, I'm still bullish on this until we start closing any kind of candles below that 55 exponential moving average on the daily chart. So perhaps a spike back down here, you know, a massive spike and then a complete buy back could be expected. Let's see what the 12-hour chart's telling us. 12-hour chart, it does line up with the 200 simple and the 200 exponential moving average. 4-hour chart, you know, that could very well be something that could be in the play here. So if we can catch the short, we can hedge against our longer term positions, make some money to the downside, and then perhaps catch these lows. But I don't see any kind of urgency to this trade at the moment. So I'll keep an eye on it for sure. Neo could be another short opportunity as well, but I'd be looking for Neo to take out this previous swing low here. We'll have to actually adjust these liquidity zones a little bit after the weekend. Okay, for sure. So this liquidity zone, let me just see here. So this liquidity zone is actually being respected more with current price action. So let's move this box back up here. There we go. So for Neo, if we take out this previous swing low right here to the downside, I'd be expecting a further extension back down to $27. To the same token, if we take out the 55 exponential and close above this liquidity zone, I'd be looking for a long position on Neo. But I do think overall, we're going to be met with resistance, perhaps a short-term bounce back up to $40, somewhere around there, and then continuation back down. Monero is also one of those ones that could potentially be a trade today. So I'm going to make it yellow. I do like this. You know, it's almost like a little bit of a bear flag pennant formation happening here. We've got price action making higher lows and equal highs. So this could be potentially, well, not even equal highs. This is not even equal, but this could potentially be a reversal pattern. So higher lows, equal highs. This could be an ascending triangle. And this could point towards a move back up to around $241. Let's see if anything lines up there. We did close above the 21 exponential on the daily again. Actually, looking at this, I would be more short-term bearish here. So let me refrain from saying this could be a potential reversal pattern. I think this one's going to play out to the downside, if I'm completely honest. Let's see some volume coming through here, even more volume from the seller side. So the bears are definitely defending this liquid zone. So I think any kind of close below this liquidity zone would be a short opportunity for myself. So I'm definitely going to be looking to take some shorts on Monero. BNB, we had a short position over here. We got liquidated overnight. But if yours didn't get liquidated, just leave it. Just leave this trade to run. I'm still overall bearish on this one. We entered around about the 21 exponential, started shorting. But we didn't enter from the daily chart. I'll explain just now why we shorted BNB last night and why I'm still overall bearish on this. I do think BNB will at least come back down to test around 171, 171. On the 12-hour time frame, you can see we've been closing 12-hour candles below the 21 exponential moving average, which is a short-term bearish signal. and that usually leads towards a test around the 55 exponential. So I do think BNB has at least a move back down to 171, 170, let's call it 175, around the 55 exponential. If you are not in this trade, don't re-enter it. We will find another reason to enter this trade. If you're still involved in it, just keep it open. If you're not involved in it, just don't enter it right now from where we are right now. We'll wait for a decent entry reason again on the 4-hour chart. So we actually entered this particular trade based on this 4-hour candle closing below 100 exponential moving average. That was our reason for entry. And then a retest back up was to be expected, back up to the 55 exponential. Overall, this is still short-term bearish in my opinion, also looking like a descending triangle, just like Uniswap. So I'd expect at least an extension back down to 147. So our entry reason for today on the 4-hour chart would be, so let's make this one yellow as well, because we're going to keep an eye on that. Any kind of break and close below on the 4-hour chart, below 205, $205, I will go short again on BNB and look for that extension to the downside. Let's talk about 1 inch real quick. 1 inch kind of played around here. We entered a short position, made some profits, got stopped out and break even, and now it looks like it wants to continue its breakdown in price here. So any kind of short-term push to the upside, I'd expect to be met with resistance and selling pressure. And I'd be looking to go short on 1 inch if we do make it back up to this liquidity zone today. I doubt we will though, but if we do, I would look for a short opportunity around $4.30, $4.27. Let's call it that. Okay, so definitely would love to take a short there on the 12-hour time frame. My, I would love to take a short position there. So definitely another yellow. Okay, BNB, we know exactly what we want to look for here, waiting for a breakdown in price. Monero, we know what we're looking for here. We're looking for a breakdown in price. Litecoin, we're looking for an entry reason. We might take a position here, a market sell. Ethereum, we're also waiting for any kind of close below this liquidity zone. Litecoin already closed below the liquid zone, but I don't want to get too bearish on this one just yet. We just have momentum oscillators flipping back bullish. Are we respecting any kind of trend lines here? Let's just see. Yeah, it could have some further downside here for sure. We are meeting a potential trend line right here, so we could see a bounce on Litecoin potentially soon, or even short term. I think we do get a short term bounce here. So for Litecoin, I'll be a little bit patient. Even though we did close below here, I want to see a nice move back down with some volume. Then we'll even enter somewhere around here, or we can even wait for a break and a close below this liquidity zone. So let me just map this out, because this is getting pretty important here. We've essentially got another liquidity zone around there. So do we see any kind? I would actually wait for Litecoin to close below this previous level of structure here before I get any kind of short positions in the market. So yeah, that's the summary here. Bitcoin, I think short-term bounce probably. Bitcoin Cash, short-term bounce. Ethereum looks like a short-term bounce as well. Chainlink, looks like everything looks like a short-term bounce, short-term bounce. Uniswap looks like a descending triangle. I don't think this one's going to have a short-term bounce. I actually do think this one's going to break down in price. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well, but nothing really soon yet. Neo, not much there. Monero, not a short-term bounce. Actually, I do expect breakdown. BNB, I expect further breakdown in price. 1 inch further breakdown. Actually, a test back up. I think another short-term bounce. But that's it. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, traders. Enjoy the rest of your Monday and be safe out there. Trade with proper risk management, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.